that mirrors had the potential in their day to lead to pride and vanity as they do in ours, and that God is truly more concerned about how we are on the inside than he is how we look on the outside. In fact, he's made it very clear that God looks on the inward parts of the heart and not on the outward appearance. Ultimately, however, the mirrors were used because God wanted to give the children of Israel and us a beautiful picture of things to come. And we'll discuss the typology of the laver in a little bit. But first, let's look at the design of the laver. Exodus chapter 38, verse 8 refers to a laver and its base. It doesn't specify any further than that as to its size or its shape or its design, how, what it looked like. It really just doesn't tell us. That's about all we get. It's commonly believed that the laver proper, because of what it's called, it means like a bowl, that the laver proper was a large bowl-shaped container at the top of or it was bowl-shaped at the top, and probably a wide but shallow basin at the bottom. Some people just show it as a pedestal and a bowl sitting up on the pedestal, But there's some problems with that, which we'll talk about. It's also likely that to me, it seems likely that the laver would be equipped with spigots. Let me show you what I mean. We're talking about a lot of guys who are slaughtering a lot of animals, and they're bound to get bloody in the process of their work. And so there's two schools of thought. One is, there's hundreds of schools of thought, but one is that this thing is just a bowl that sits on the ground like this and people wash in it. Another one is that it has a pedestal, and the guys, it would be the guys would wash in it. But what's wrong with that picture? First guy in gets a pretty good clean wash, right? But once you've washed your hands in that bowl, guess what happens? The blood, you can no longer get the blood out of it. It's just bloody. So what I'm thinking it had to be is something like, it has the big, this would probably be a pretty big thing, and then it would have a base like this, and then it would have a basin underneath that would catch water, and then it would have spigots all the way around. And whether they had corks in them to keep the water back or whatever, but when the priest came up, he would open the spigot and wash his hands and wash his feet under that, and the water would drain into here. And they had to keep replacing it. There was nothing magic about the water, but they had to keep replacing the water all the time, rather than stick their hands or their feet into a bowl that was going to be contaminated. And so it just makes sense to me that it would be, something of that nature. And who knows if it was. I'll draw sticking in because I got to put like the ephod on though. Thank you. Big feet. Looks like a piece of toast. Toasty, the Levitical priest from the tribe of the Toastites. But it would make sense to me that it would have to have some way to release the water so that they could wash, they could be clean, and they wouldn't soil the water at the same time. That makes sense, what I'm saying?
Along the same line is, if he has to do his feet, how's he going to get his feet up in that leg?
Well, some people think it wasn't that big. And some people also, that's a very good point, some people also think they had like pitchers and bowls. And so some pictures I've seen show like something more like that, and then they have a pitcher they get water in, and then they wash their feet over the bowls or something. But I don't know, it just seems like overkill to me.
I would think so. Have course the Lord would specify that in the Bible. So same thing with the pitcher and bowl.
Yeah, but you would also expect him to give us more than just it was a brass laver with its pedestal.
I agree. He's so specific about everything else.
Yeah. He really just doesn't tell us much about it. And so the thing about that is, where the Bible's silent, we probably should be too. So it really probably doesn't matter what the shape of it was, but just to get an idea of how it could have been any one of those. I'm not saying that's the way it was. That just seems to me like that's the most practical way. All right. So, a little bit about the design then. I mentioned that according to Jewish history, and the Bible's also silent on this, but according to Jewish history, there was no special water that had to be used. You know, some people think that you have to have holy water, or everything's got to be, there's a special water. In fact, when, I don't know if I shared this with you, but when Debbie and I were in Greece, oh man, we're coming up on 39 years in April, so it was 9 years ago for our 30th wedding anniversary. We actually got to go to, we landed at Kuşadası, Turkey, southern part of Turkey, and we took a bus up to Ephesus, which they've got like 10% excavated. And while we were there, they took us up on this hill to a home that they believed Mary, the mother of Jesus, lived with John.